I think that you should do the intro this week because
No,
I
dang it.
have royally screwed up the intro every time I've done it by calling this podcast Tough Pigs.
I know, but it's funny and it gets funnier every single time you say it.
Ugh.
That was a Beetlejuice joke.
I know. Um, would you like the honors of doing it this time?
No, but I'll do it anyway because you know what I'm gonna do? You saying you don't want to do it, that's gonna be our intro.
Damn it.
Because you know
Okay.
how I am.
I do.
Don't curse. We
Okay,
don't
I'll
we
try.
don't curse anymore. Okay. Hello, audience. This is Frog Kissing, a Tough Pigs podcast. You are listening to Laura, that's me, and Julia,
That's
that's
me.
her, that's her. And today we're going to talk about three things. Basically, we're going to talk about the I Am Big Bird documentary. We're going to talk about the Cookie Thief special for Sesame Street, and we're going to talk about Frank Oz's birthday, which is today, 25th.
Yay! Happy birthday, Frank Oz. You grumpy old
Yay.
adorable man.
He's not that grumpy, he's just Frank.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. My volume levels on here are really strange. Um, Probably because I was talking about like NPR person before.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's also Towel Day for Hitchhiker Guide fans, and I actually just bought a little hitchhiker decal thing to put on my car.
Aw.
So I really like that. It's neat. I haven't put it on my car yet because my car is dirty, but I will do. Um, yeah, and the Jim Henson connection to that is that they made the Vogons for the film and they look amazing.
That's right, yeah.
They're actual, the whole things are puppets, and that's remarkable because they look so so good.
That's cool. I've only seen that movie once, and so I only vaguely remember anything from that film.
They also made. I'm guessing they also made all the other creatures and stuff for it too.
Probably.
But other than the Vogons, there weren't a whole lot of other creatures that like moved and did. Marvin, I guess, who was played by Warwick Davis.
Was he?
Yes,
Oh,
he was.
Warwick
You didn't know that?
Davis. I
Aw.
didn't. That's amazing. I
Did
love
you
him.
know that Warwick Davis has an autobiography out?
Does he really?
He does.
What's it called?
Judge me by my size, do you? I think.
That's a good.
Something like that. Now I'll have to look it up. Alright, I guess we're also talking about Warwick Davis today. um, I forgot. It's on my list of things to read. Book.
Did it just come out?
Size matters not. I knew it was a Yoda line.
I
It's,
haven't, I don't think I've seen it before. Is it new?
um, no, it came out like 4 years ago.
Oh, well, that's probably why I haven't. It's
Well, I
been
didn't even hear about it until Star Wars Celebration,
okay.
since he was like reading from it and stuff.
That's cool.
Anyway, more
Any
to read.
anyway, do we want to start with? Do you want to start with Frank or do you want to start with Sesame?
Um, I don't know. You pick. Oh,
Um.
we also have to do our contest. I totally forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
We also have to pick from our contest.
We can. How about we end with the contest?
Yeah, that's what I figured we do.
Let's talk about Frank, and then we can segue into Sesame, and then I Am Big Bird.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Um, it's Frank's birthday.
Yay!
What of the nature of Frank's birthday did you want to speak about?
You know, for years and years, I was so excited because I thought Frank Oz's birthday was actually on my birthday, which is the 27th, which is Wednesday. But it is not. And every time I think about Frank's birthday, I always think about how I was so convinced that for whatever reason that his birthday was on my birthday. But I do share a birthday with Christopher Lee,
That's pretty
which
cool.
is that's pretty cool.
That man, that man's amazing.
And Margaret Hamilton died on my birthday, so I don't know. That's important.
Well,
She was the Wicked Witch.
yeah,
Yeah,
I share a birthday with America, so it's
and
all good.
Captain and literally and Captain America.
And Captain America and Arthur
Yeah.
Miller, famous
Huh.
playwright.
I know who he is.
The more you know.
Da-da. And today is also Christopher Surf's dad's birthday. Christopher Surf, who is better known as Little Chrissy from Sesame Street.
Nice.
And his father actually helped create. He was like one of the two guys that helped create the Random House Publishing Company.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
that's awesome.
right?
I just picked up poetry books from Random House Publishing Company the other day.
Aw. He would have been 117.
Wow.
And Frank is 71 today.
I was gonna ask if you knew how old Frank had turned today.
Yeah, I looked. I put it on our Twitter.
I
Yes.
did see that you posted on the Twitter, but I didn't see the age.
Oh, I posted it like 4 times on
Okay.
Twitter because every time I did a picture, the first picture I did was Yoda, and I
hmm
was like, well, it was a really good picture, but I wanted to do towards Muppets, so I did a behind the scenes post picture, and it was from behind the scenes of Sesame Street from like 40 years or something, whatever their little 40th anniversary DVD thing. It came out and I bought it, but because the Disney acquisition had happened, he was wearing a Muppet Show headband and it had Disney Muppets on it, so they were all blurred out. I was like, well, that's dumb. So I changed the picture again. And I think I kept the one now. And then but when I did a search, I wanted like a younger picture of him.
hmm
I really wanted one of him like when he was like, 19 or something. But
when he had more hair.
when he had all his hair and he had like the horn rimmed glasses and looked like a little baby,
hmm
uh, you know, and like pre mustache, So I did Frank Oz young, right?
hmm
And I googled it and I found a good picture of him directing. I was like, "Oh, that's really good. I haven't seen this picture in a while." So I posted that one. When I clicked on it and like the Google thing that just comes up, the description on the other side was Frank Oz nude photos. And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Okay, so I just saved that photo, put it on my desktop, uploaded it." I was like, "I can't believe that said Frank Oz nude." I found like some weird stuff, just like really random when you just Google something for like for like their younger selves or something. I don't know. Or don't like on Tumblr. Do not look too far in the Brian Henson tag because there is a porn actor named Brian Henson.
Oh,
So
that's
so
that's good to
the
know.
the younger audience, or if you don't want to be surprised, um, yeah, there's a porn actor named Brian Henson, and he's got just not a whole lot, just a couple of pictures. Um, there's another guy too that like I have in my Tumblr search that I'll just like randomly find nude pictures of a guy. It's also named this. Internet,
Oh, the internet.
just penises all the time.
Penises everywhere.
So Frank Oz's
So
birthday.
Frank has his birthday. That's cool. Um, yeah. I guess Frank is probably. I mean, he's not the last original guy who founded the Muppets, obviously, but he's one of the few who's still around.
No, actually, he is.
Is he? Like,
Yeah.
out of. I guess out of the very,
If you
very
go
early people.
Jane, Jim, Don, Celine, Jerry, Joel, and Frank.
Yeah, and even. I mean, Jerry Nelson wasn't there at the conception, but he was there pretty
Yeah,
early.
yeah. Jerry Nelson came in after, and he's gone too. So yeah, Frank's it.
Oh, man.
God damn it, Julia! Oh man, we're gonna curse. You just made me really sad. Anyway, but I love when Jerry when Jim God when Frank talks about um my favorite thing that Frank does in interviews is when people say something about, well, how did you come up with that voice? Because his answer is the same every time. He says, it's not about the voice. The voice is like 10%. What is its characterization?
hmm
It's, you know, the puppeteering. The voice is hardly anything. And that interview that I sent you that I just posted today on Muppet Mayhem
hmm
was a really good interview because the guy um, he mentions it a couple times, and he was like, with George Lucas when he did Yoda, he was like, George, you keep, downplaying the voice, but when George Lucas got you, he wanted you for what? He wanted you for the voice, right? And Frank said no. In fact, uh, George wanted him for his puppeteering. He wanted him for his characterization, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
The dialogue was not exactly written how it comes off. There was like a certain language that Yoda was supposed to have, and then Frank toyed with it and made amazing choices with Yoda. And I was like, that he said that, it was mostly him kind of figuring out how to say stuff and the way that he wanted this character to, because he does all the actor work, he does the bio and he does his likes and dislikes and his
Aw.
goals and all this stuff. And I was like, and that makes sense since Frank is so much about characterization. I was like, he does the actor work. Um, I mean, that's what we had to do in school.
Yeah.
Whenever we were given a role, then that's, do do your bio and do your, you got to do the character work. Um, which I like doing, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
nobody else did.
I always was about that when I was younger.
Yeah, that was fun. Anyway, so that language that Yoda has was a lot in part to Frank, and then but that makes sense because the same way with Grover, the choices that he has when he talks as Grover are the same thing that Eric's still doing now, is though that he hardly ever uses contractions if ever,
Yeah.
and that's, I don't know, like just even something like a little thing like that is very, like, that's a clear choice that you have to remember and make every time that you speak as that character. But I mean, that's something that, like, obviously people that pay attention remember and know that Grover speaks a certain way and Cookie Monster speaks a certain way.
That's very true. All of Frank's characters, like from Sesame and the Muppet Show, they all speak a very distinct way.
Yeah.
Animal,
Even,
co-
yeah, even Piggy.
yeah,
Not, it's not just the French thrown in there every once in a while, but the way that she talks, it's kind of clipped in
yeah,
a way. And when she gets really sweet on something, or when she gets really angry at stuff, you can tell she gets growly, that kind of thing, different stuff. Or when she gets overly sweet, you're really in trouble.
yeah. Comparing just like the three characters in the Muppet Show, and Animal, Piggy, and like Sam the Eagle, they all speak
Uh-huh.
very differently. Even Fozzie
Yeah,
has,
and
he,
Fozzie, yeah. I was
yeah,
gonna say Fozzie's next. He enunciates a lot.
yeah.
He enunciates a I love the way Fozzie speaks.
I love Fozzie, so yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Whenever he's and when he calls Kermit Frog of My Heart, or he always says yes sir or something like that. And I love that so much.
Mm,
And that's so much in the Muppet movie
yes.
as well. Anyway, I forgot what I was originally talking. Oh yeah, he was talking about the voice thing, the how that's, and he corrected the guy. He says, because the guy kind of, like, the interviewer started to kind of apologize, and he was like, no, no, it's because it's not just you. It's like everybody. People can't get around that it's not Frank Oz as the voice of. It's Frank Oz performing, because I mean, but that sounds so much easier to me to just say performing, because that encompasses everything instead of just the voice of. When you're just doing the voice and you're not doing nothing else, that's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's people think that it's just the voice because it's all they can kind of take away from the person performing it. They're like, "Oh, that's definitely their voice." But then I'm watching this
Yeah.
puppet doing stuff, but it's there is a person
Yeah.
underneath operating everything that puppet does and making sure that like the emotion comes through and not only the voice but in the actions and like their movement and the way that they carry themselves.
Yeah.
And I think it's just easy to kind of forget that, especially if you're not super invested into the behind the scenes of the Muppets or any other thing that has puppets, I guess.
Yeah. And if
Yeah.
you notice on IMDb, that's how they're credited too.
Is it
Steve
credited
Whit
by voice?
Well, it's Steve Whitmire Kermit voice. Like, they'll
Oh.
have the voice in the parentheses,
Oh.
which is very strange. But I think that's kind of weird to me, that because you're not seeing their face, you're hearing their voice, you're seeing their performance through, felt for whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, so check out that interview because it was really good. I'll reblog it right now so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I saw that
To
you
the
posted
page.
it on Tumblr, and you also sent me
Yeah,
the link, so I probably will watch
yeah.
that
Well,
later.
because I was watching it at the time, and then you finished yours. Yeah. So Frank's awesome, and another favorite thing is when, if you ever, well, I know you have several of his movies that he's directed, but I love, more than any other actor or more than any other director, I think maybe him and like Quentin Tarantino, because they kind of operate when they're doing commentary in the same manner.
Oh, I was hoping you
They
were going to
do it
talk. I thought you were going to talk about commentary. I'm so glad you are.
because they do it in the same way. They act like you are literally right next to the couch, next to them on the couch,
Yep.
watching it with them. And Quentin Tarantino does it a bit differently, but it's not his birthday. Um, but I love him. But he does that same very. He kind of it's like they kind of do the same thing because Quentin will say okay, like that's how his speech pattern is,
Mm-hmm.
and Frank will say the exact same thing. He'll say this is how you know we have to set this up and people have to come in this way, okay, and he'll just kind of like not like check in with you because it's just how they speak,
Yeah.
but Quentin Tarantino does it as if you're already a you know film buff, that you
Yeah.
know what he's talking about kind of thing because you obviously have bought this movie, you know what your stuff is.
Yeah.
Frank will say it, he'll talk a lot of it like he's an instructor, like he's a teacher, and I love that
Yes.
so much. I
I
love it.
When I was in New Zealand, me and my good friend James watched Little Shop of Horrors, and then right afterwards we watched it with the commentary by Frank Oz, and he just like tells you everything that's going on, but like so casually. And there
Yeah.
was one sequence in that movie where like between like every time the shot changes cameras, they do it in different like speeds. Because of how the puppet had to move, they had to speed up certain parts.
Yeah.
But then when they would go back to Frank Moranis, no, Rick Moranis, oh my, it would slow down again. So he'd be like, "Here it is at this time, and now we're back to this time,
I
now
know
back to this time," and he just kept going, and we were like, "Oh Frank, oh
and
dear Frank."
it's like I felt like I was like listening to a lecture. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome. Love his
I would
commentaries.
very much recommend Little Shop of Horrors commentary. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun to listen to.
But I love listening to commentary anyway. And then other people do it. They just kind of goof around and talk about it a little bit. And then some people will they'll watch the movie too much, and I kind of can't stand when people do that.
Yeah.
But like all of Frank's commentaries are really good. I always try to listen to Quentin Tarantino's, and the one for A Knight's Tale was so good
Who did
because
the
it was
Who did the
it
Knight's
was
Tale?
it was Brian Hedlund, I think that's his name, who was the director, and Paul Bettany, and they had been like really good friends for a long time.
Hmm.
So they just kind of like sit there and banter and make up stuff, and it's just so funny.
That's great.
They I think they did like some rumors about Laura Fraser in there and everything, so funny. I really like Knight's Tale, and I really like Laura Fraser because that's my name.
That is your name.
I know it's entirely spelled differently though, which I think it's funny.
I like Nate's
But
Tale.
see, if I was like really Scottish, then that's how I would spell it because that's the actual way to spell it.
Yeah. Do we want to?
So I think,
Do we want to
what?
talk about? Do we want to move on to Sesame?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think we talked enough about Frank.
It's been 20 minutes. It's been 20 minutes.
Yes,
So,
it might be a little bit long.
do we just want
Yeah,
to kind of talk broadly about Sesame Street? I know someone asked for us to speak about it.
yeah. Well, let's just do the Cookie Thief since we saw that.
Okay. I
And
literally
just like
just
little.
watched The Cookie Thief like a half an hour ago. That's when I finished watching it.
I
Cause
watched it. I watched it 3 hours ago.
Oh,
So
good. Okay, I feel less bad. I thought that you had watched it like a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't watched it. I'm the worst." And
no, I like
okay,
literally forgot, and I was like,
okay.
oh, you know what? You said that, and I picked up my last cookie over here. I was gonna
Oh,
eat it, and I'm like, no, I'm recording. That would be a bad idea. Yeah.
cookies. That's my
And
main comment about this special was it made me want to eat cookies.
yeah, I wish I could send you the cookies that I have that I'm eating
Mm,
now.
maybe I'll go
Cause
buy.
that's exactly what I did, and then I saved some for later. So like I had like a big pile of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, this is too many, so I put them aside, and I'll I'll have some of these later. But they're Chips Ahoy cookies, which I normally don't like, but these are okay.
Maybe after this podcast, I will reward myself by going to the Safeway a block away and buying cookies.
Ah, you're so funny. Safeway, we don't have those.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
They're everywhere on the
Mm-mm.
I guess on most of the West Coast. I don't know about California. Wait, no, yeah,
No.
they're definitely in the Bay.
Look, me and Allison, when we were driving to Atlanta, we saw a Costco and we freaked out.
Oh man,
We don't have.
Costco's are
And a
everywhere here
Whole
as well.
Foods. Oh my God, and a Whole Foods?
Whole
No, we
Foods.
don't have those. That's crazy. I love seeing stuff that like we don't have in North Carolina. And like people freak out and they see Dunkin' Donuts and stuff. And that's like a East Coast thing mostly. But
We had a Dunkin' Donuts here for a
yeah,
hot second. I don't know what happened to it. It's gone.
yeah. We have two now. We have one down the street. Why are we talking about Dunkin' Donuts? We didn't even talk
I
about that.
want a donut now.
No, cookies. Okay, so
Okay.
Cookie Thief, I thought it was really cute. I don't know if it was. It felt kind of more like a. I think if they shortened it down, it could have been just a regular episode of Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's how I kind of felt. I was like, I mean, this is cool. I love Cookie Monster. I liked getting to see Ryan Dillon as Elmo. But it felt like they could have, yeah, shortened it down and then just cut it into segments, and it could have just been an episode of Sesame Street.
I don't think it constituted. It's it's no Big Bird in China.
That's
We should do
that's
one
true.
on that because
We could do
uh
one on Big Bird in China and follow that
and
bird.
follow that. Yeah, we just need to just we'll get to it eventually. We'll do all the movies and all the specials. We'll get to them. Um, we'll
Um,
do Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree. We'll do that one for Christmas or
oh
something.
yes. As a whole, yeah. So I thought Cookie Thief was good. I mean, I love Rachel Dratch. That was cool that she was there. I liked the ending song. All the other songs, I was like,
Yeah, the ending song was
meh.
really good. The ending song was really good. Cookie's little his lament outside that was a bit long. I was
Yeah,
like, I was waiting for it to be over at the end because
I think I skipped part of it, or
yeah,
I
God,
left the room.
yeah, God love Cookie Monster, but he's not like he's no Josh Groban, with the ballads there.
It's true.
Um, Chris's dancing was really fun.
Chris's dancing was great. I don't think I've
He was
ever seen Chris before.
really
I
he's like one of the new guys, but he's not that new.
To be quite honest, I don't watch a lot of Sesame Street nowadays. I watch like clips, whenever they appear
Yeah,
on
me too.
Tumblr and YouTube or Tough Pigs. So a lot of the celebrity clips and occasionally a couple songs and segments, but I'm not as caught up with Sesame. I dream of like going through the entirety of that show someday, but that's
Wow.
so daunting. I don't know if it'll actually happen.
40, look, okay. No, because it's 45 years, 46 years, a show 5 days a week for probably half the year.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. And then like a bunch of them you can't even find.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I meant in the sense that like whatever I could find, I'd watch. But
plus they kind of recycle sketches and stuff. You'll get sick of it.
yeah, well, I thought more in the sense of like I'd watch it for like the main segments and then maybe skip around the other
We'll see, but
sketches.
like okay, look, back in the day, that's not how they did things.
Yeah,
It was different. Like I've seen like some really really
I
early
know.
episodes,
Yeah,
and up until like the 90s, that was kind of the same thing.
yeah. I mean, this was a thought that I had like 2 years ago when I was super idealistic, and I was like, this is totally doable. Nowadays,
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, that's okay. I'll just watch things on YouTube.
I wanna rewatch Fraggle Rock. I need to get on that.
I do want to rewatch Fraggle Rock. It's been a couple years.
We could make that a thing.
We could
And then do Farscape later because we talked about doing
We did
Farscape.
talk about doing Farscape. Farscape was on Netflix. I'm not sure if it still is.
Oh dang. Okay.
We'll check.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to back to Cookie
Cookie
Thief.
Thief. Okay, so I haven't seen Ryan as Elmo in like long form. I've seen like a clip here and there,
Me too.
but like to listen to him and have him be like a character in the story and everything. First of all, Ryan sounds exactly like Kevin, and it's awesome. Secondly, he was really funny, but not in an over the top way, but
Mm-hmm.
like downplaying stuff, like just his little kind of like clearly ad libbed things, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Um, and I really liked that Elmo wasn't like the main character, but he was a good secondary character. He was a good supporting character.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure if that would have worked with Kevin's Elmo.
That's true. I like you. I haven't seen a lot of Ryan Dillon as Elmo in long form. And I totally agree. He's pretty spot on for the most part, and he was a great secondary character. But yeah, he's a really good supporting Elmo, which we haven't really gotten a lot of in the past. And I don't know if maybe it's because of the push to make Elmo kind of central for like the last 10, 15 years, but it was nice to see him still be important to the plot line but not, the central figure of
Elmo.
it. Yeah. Not to be yeah.
But okay, because um, we're of the audience where we just like I don't know if you did you get it a lot? Because I mean Elmo came along in '85, but he wasn't real big until like the
I'm part of
'90s.
I'm part
So
of
I
the
missed
Elmo
that.
I'm part of the Elmo generation. He
Okay.
became big when I was like what 5 or 6. So yeah,
Okay.
I was never super big into Elmo, but I loved Elmo as a kid. I feel like most kids my age probably did. I don't know who I was all about. I think I was all about Grover when I was a kid.
It
Or
was all like Bert and Ernie and Grover and Cookie Monster
mm-hmm.
and Big Bird.
Oh, Big Bird.
But otherwise, yeah. I mean, like speaking of Big Bird, you forget how like big. I mean, especially at least for me, because that's when he was like Follow That Bird came out, and I remember we had that on tape somewhere, but
hmm
like we could never find it because mom forgot to write it down or something. I don't know. And then Big Bird Goes to China. And what was the he did the well, God, what was the other one?
It was those two, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but it was a Big Bird Goes Somewhere Else. Hold on, I gotta wiki it because I remember like I saw that one, but I didn't. But Big Bird Goes to China was the big deal.
Yeah,
I thought there was another one. Oh well. But I mean, we had a Big Bird doll, and
yeah.
we had a Big Bird doll in the nursery of our church, which was so old and so ratty. Like one of its eyes was missing. It like didn't have any like it didn't have feathers. It had fur, kind of thing, because it was a toy. I don't know.
yeah,
But it looked. I was like, this is so weird because this Big Bird doll looks like original Big Bird. That's how you know messed up it was. So I did like some research later on after having like just remembered that it was there or seeing it or something.
yeah.
And then I like I went on I googled a search or something and I'm like I had to figure out this Big Bird doll. And no, it was an original Big Bird doll from back in the day when he actually did look like that still. I'm like, holy crap. This is like the oldest thing. And then my brother had the Bert and Ernie puppets,
Aw,
which were like they were like rubber their faces were like this rubber these like rubber puppets like that. I don't know, they were big in the 80s. It was just like rubber puppets all over the place.
yeah,
So we had those, and Aaron had Bert and Ernie um, slippers and pajamas and stuff. So it was all about like Bert and Ernie and Big Bird and a little bit of Grover, but Bert and Ernie and Big Bird.
yeah,
But I like that Cookie Monster and Grover seem to be making a comeback. Bert and Ernie are kind of they don't get a whole lot of stuff to do anymore, but I think that's just time constraints with Steve and
has
everything.
Ernie shifted hands? I've I don't know if it's something that's actually happened, but I thought I read
Not
something.
officially.
Not officially.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think so. The people that are in charge of making it official haven't yet, I guess.
Okay.
But I mean, this other guy does perform him, and I did see his name in the credits of but he's obviously working on Sesame Street. I forget what his name is.
Okay.
Bill something
A
or
lot of
Billy
a lot
something.
of characters have been switching hands on Sesame. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of it is because of people retiring, like Fran.
Mhm.
I had to ask you because I wasn't sure because I hadn't looked it up about Prairie Dawn in the Cookie Thief, and that was still Fran. But
Bart Hurst,
yeah,
I think. Yeah, he's a youngin. Yeah, credited Muppet Performer seasons 41 and 45. He's been active in performing Ernie. Yeah, so I'm guessing he's gonna be the next in. But until like I know that there was kind of an argument over at Muppet Wiki, which was we're not gonna put his name in the Ernie box until it's official, until we
yeah,
hear it, until he takes over totally, kind of thing. And it's probably more likely to do with Steve, you know,
yeah,
doing Kermit so much, rightly so, because otherwise Steve really doesn't have a whole lot to do on Sesame Street
yeah. That's his
now that
only.
Kermit's not there around or
Yeah,
anything.
that's
So,
his only character over at Sesame, so
hmm
it makes sense.
yep. Which I always found that interesting. Like him and Dave, they didn't have any Sesame stuff to do,
Yeah,
um, kind of thing. And then like Jerry did like a lot of Sesame stuff, but not a whole lot of Muppet Show stuff in the first couple seasons. But that was with Christina's health reasons and all that. Cookie Thief was cute. It probably could have been done as
shorter.
a shorter
Yeah,
thing.
but
Um,
I enjoyed it as a whole. I think it
I
was.
like seeing Prairie Dawn again.
I did
I feel
too.
like we don't see her as much, ever. So
I feel like because they officially passed her on to Stephanie D'Abrizio.
yeah, no.
I feel like we'll probably be seeing a lot more of her,
I hope
hopefully.
so. I hope so. And
That would be
I like
nice.
and Abby. I like her. She's cute.
That was
She
cute.
does little cute things. Cute, cute fairy, cute kid. I liked when they did the painters.
Yeah.
That was the first time I've ever seen Vincent Van Gogh or Vincent Van Gogh done with a Dutch accent.
Yeah, I was wondering about that accent.
Yeah, I had to look it up. I was like, where is he from? Oh, he's from Belgium. Wait, where is that in again? Oh, it's Dutch.
Okay.
So yeah, I had to look it up, so don't feel bad. Yeah, because I've never like after looking up and I was like, oh yeah, he's a Dutch artist, but I've never seen him portrayed. And I've seen like a couple, like he was in Doctor Who, and then
Yeah.
he was there was some movie where Benedict Cumberbatch played him.
Oh, really?
English accents every time.
Yeah, that's. I had that same thought. I was like, I've never seen Vincent van Gogh played with an accent like that. But then
Yeah,
they did mention that they were in Belgium because of the Belgian waffle joke. So I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
They
okay.
did it, yeah, but they did it. I mean, come on, saying cookies just kind of funny, but accents are funny. Okay, so well, to be fair, also Tyler Bunch played Vincent Van Gogh, so that was cool
Oh,
for
did he?
him to come.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
trying to figure out. I figured the Leonardo da Vinci sounded like Joey
that
Maz.
was Joe. Yeah,
That's what I
and
figured.
then Steph was Mona or Mancha Lisa,
Yeah.
and if I'm not wrong, they're both Italian. So
Joey Maz is definitely Italian. Oh yeah, and probably
yeah,
Stephanie. So there you go.
yeah, Mazzarino. I like how we say Joey Maz. Like we keep saying they're just like the first names or the nicknames that we give them or whatever. So Joey Maz. And you know what I really like on Tumblr? That is an actual tag. It's
Yeah.
you and I forget who else, but it's like there's like 5 pictures under Joey Maz, and I love it. Yeah. So I mean it was fun. It could have been shorter. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was good. It's good
Good.
good bit of art thing
Good
with
art
cookies.
lesson with cookies.
With
Yes.
and a cookie thief, a literal cookie thief.
Oh yeah, I went in like not knowing who the cookie thief was gonna be, and
Yeah, me neither.
I was like, oh, it's a cookie. I guess that
It's an
makes sense.
actual cookie.
I was hoping it would be someone else from Sesame Street. I don't know who or
Nah,
why, but I was hoping for it to be more of a surprise.
yeah. That's an actual cookie. And we'll never see that cookie again because we associate him with theft now.
Yes.
I don't know. We probably won't see that cookie again though.
Probably not. Who performed the cookie? Was it Joey or was it Matt?
Um, I think it was Joey.
Okay.
Hold on. I have to look it up now. See, I did my research before doing the show. I'm like
That's
really proud of myself.
that's very smart. I can't use my internet when we're recording because otherwise it messes up
Um,
my computer.
that's sad. Okay. Penguin Guard. Oh, it was Matt.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I was like, it could.
Oh, Joey did the scream. How
Okay.
freaky was that? How freaky was that
It,
puppet?
it,
For
wa-
real?
it was really freaky.
You know why? It's because of how his mouth is shaped.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all there is to it. Because it's different and it's strange and weird. And then at the very bottom it just says Peter Linz. Just by himself. He doesn't have a credit.
He was
I mean,
just
he doesn't.
hanging around
He
in
was
the
just there.
background.
He was there. He contributed.
He just like walks into the background of a scene and waves, then
I know
leaves.
that would be great.
I'd love that.
Um, yeah, and I like how they do. I like how they're keeping up sort of with the tradition of whatever the actor's name, like the human actor's name, is
Hmm.
also the character's name, and they don't do that every time.
Wait,
Alan,
what do you mean?
Chris, his name is Chris
Oh,
Nones.
oh, you okay? You mean the human cast? Okay.
That yeah, I said human cast.
Oh, I
I
missed
did
that.
say that. So I like how they say like, all right, so technically it's only been like 4 people that do have done that. Or no, 5. Buffy, Linda, Bob,
Susan? No,
no,
no, no.
Loretta,
That was Loretta. Yeah. Um,
and Chris and Alan. I can't
I
think.
thought that there was more, but yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, like when they have oh, who was it? Like, oh, Raul Julia. His name was the same too. His name was Raul in the show. I think, wasn't it?
I don't
Oh,
remember. I
I have to
totally
look it up.
forgot Raul Julia was on Sesame until right now.
I was gonna say, I was like, it's somebody that he was an actor, like he did other stuff. No, his name was Raphael. God dang it. I loved him on Sesame Street. He was such a dork. He looked so dorky on on Sesame
Yeah.
Street. And he wasn't on for very long, but still, yeah. Anyway. Okay, so so you did a higher perk than I did for the Kickstarter, so what all did you get?
I got the download of the movie onto my computer,
Yeah, I got that.
and then I think that was my main perk. But because they also did a thing where if you got somebody to also donate
Oh,
and they wrote your name like in a box saying that like you recommended that they donate, I
yeah.
did that. I got my friend Martha to just put, she hadn't donated yet, and I was like, hey, can you just put my name in the box? And she's like, yeah, of course.
Aw.
And so you also, I got a yellow tote bag. I can't remember exactly what's on it. I think it just says I am Big Bird and has a sketch of Big Bird. And then inside, I don't remember everything that was inside. It was like a lot of information about of Copper Pot Pictures, other stuff. I think there was a couple postcards with drawings Carol Spinney's done, and it also had a Big Bird feather inside, which is
Yay.
now the second Big Bird feather I own. So that's cool.
Aw. Where'd you get the first one from?
My good friend Mac was an intern at Sesame Street for 6 or 7 months, I believe, and she found a
Huh.
feather. She found a feather on the floor, and she sent it
Oh,
to me.
good.
Yeah, she didn't, go and take it from the costume like that story in I Am Big Bird.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was terrible.
That was heartbreaking. But yeah, that's what I got for donating to the Kickstarter.
That's awesome.
Did you get you got the download?
I got the download and then like the DVD or the Blu-ray whenever it comes out.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the Blu-ray too.
Yeah. That I've been waiting for like literally 2 years. So I was like, oh,
Pretty
is it
much.
is it this December? We're gonna get him this December, right? No. Oh well, then it's this December, but the movie's not out yet, so maybe not. It's
Um,
this December, hopefully.
did you watch it on your computer when you got
Yeah.
it, or did you go to Oh, you don't have it in theaters yet, do you?
Mm-mm. Nope. No. We have one. No, we have two Dunkin' Donuts here. We don't have a Costco or a Whole Foods. What makes you think we're gonna have I Am Big Bird?
I don't know. I'm
No.
very yeah, because it does have a limited release. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
This town is not like Portland. It's not fancy.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Portland's a nice big
There's.
city.
I was gonna say there's. We don't have a Tim Hortons, but wait a minute, that's Canada.
Yeah, we don't have a Tim Hortons either, Laura. Cool your jets. Um, but yeah, we got I Am Big Bird couple weeks ago, and so I had gotten the download, but I decided not to watch it yet. I wanted to go see it in theaters first, and
Yeah, that's cool.
me and my boyfriend went last week, and I literally started crying like the second the music started before anything
Oh,
was seen, and he's like, "Are
the
you?"
music was
The
good.
music was super good, and I cried a lot of that movie.
Wow.
It was a really sweet, quiet documentary. I don't know. It was just really lovely. I thought it was so well
It's
done.
very enjoyable to watch. The only thing that I have, like, criticism wise, is that every story seemed so short, almost. Like,
That's yeah.
like, they kind of, they touched on a lot of things, but some things they literally just touched on and then moved on to something else.
That's fair,
Which
but
I think, see, I don't know. I think that, like, they could have talked more about Jim's passing. They could have talked more about the transition that Steve had to go through, that everybody adjusting to that sort of thing. Like, especially on Sesame Street, where, you know, Jim, like, literally his presence is gone, and that's has to be completely felt. But then, you got this other performer that has been with the company but has not necessarily been on Sesame Street at all, having to fill in the gap with these characters and that kind of thing. But and
that's
like
fair.
and I don't know, maybe because I'm so super invested in Steve's story, and especially around that transitional period. Um, But then Kermit needed to talk again, so we had this other performer, Steve. And they showed his picture. They showed him like some new footage, which was awesome from Fraggle
They
Rock.
should. He was so cute.
And he waves or whatever he does, but that's literally it. And then that's it.
I mean, that's true. I feel like there's probably a couple factors with that.
Yeah,
One being that like they did have a lot to cover, and they couldn't spend too much time on everything. So the things they did spend the most amount of time on, like his relationship with his wife and
yeah,
his
I love that. The whole
coming
thing
into
about
Sesame.
Debbie.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of focused the most on like certain things that they felt were most important to the story. It also probably had to do with who they interviewed and like the material they had to work with. And I mean, as much as I also very, very much love Steve, maybe they also felt that that wasn't the story to focus on.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe I'd love a documentary about Steve someday. That would
That needs
be
to happen for real.
amazing. They should just, make a series of documentaries about Muppet performers, and I'd be down
Exactly.
for that.
That
Yeah,
would be
so
something really interesting for the Jim Henson Company to do.
it would.
Just like, a life of puppeteers or
Yes.
team up with Disney to actually like do stuff like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
To see Steve for like a second and then that's it, that was kind of disappointing. But that's just
That's
me.
fair.
But that's just me.
I
Um,
mean, I kind of wanted a little bit more about Steve
yeah.
and Jim.
And
I did think
Jerry
that.
as well. I mean,
Oh yeah,
we did get to see a lot of him with the
I
interview and
liked
everything.
seeing
So
I liked seeing
yeah,
Jerry.
Richard didn't get a whole lot of mention either, but
He didn't, but he was in
he was
quite
in
a
a lot
number
of
of the clips.
exactly, which is why you would think he would get mentioned a little bit more.
I mean,
But
they
yeah,
also
there are
mentioned
some.
how they
That
men-
was so great to see. Is stuff like that, like
they
like
mentioned
the
that
behind the scenes stuff.
Carol was kind of more of a loner, so
Hmm.
maybe he just didn't have a close
Yeah,
relationship with a lot of those performers.
and that's what they said in the story is that that's the nature of his characters as well, and the way that he has to perform them, kind of thing
Yeah.
too. But I really liked the interviews with Emilio and Bob as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those were really good.
I was hoping that we'd see Roscoe and Sonia.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a couple more of the performers, the actors that have been there closer to the beginning. I know Roscoe hasn't, but he's been
Yeah.
there for a while at this point. But yeah, it was nice that they got a couple of
Well,
the
I
humans.
think, and either Carol or Emilio says it one, but they were like really good friends.
Yeah,
Like they bonded a lot.
yeah,
So
that's
it
what
could
he
just be
said.
that, that whatever, if they did interview Sonya, then whatever she said that somebody else had said, but
That's true.
stuff so that stuff's not overlapping or whatever they used,
And I'm sure not
whatever.
I'm sure not everybody was available to be interviewed.
That's true. Yeah,
Everyone's
that
got
too.
their own stuff going on.
Yeah, and I think Sonya just come out with her teen novel around that time. So
Yeah.
she might have been out doing that. So I don't know. Whatever. That's
She's got a book coming out sometime soon.
yeah, she's got another one. I know. I'll have to do that.
That
We'll
that one's about Sesame, which should
Oh, is
be.
it? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
I think she's got one. I don't remember the title. I think it's like Being Maria or something. This
Oh,
could
that's
this
awesome.
could be a total lie, but I am about like 80% certain that I read something on her Facebook about it. So
That's amazing cuz she's done a couple of teen novels which I've promoted.
I also in the documentary I liked that they did do a bit of focus on Matt Vogel and how he's
Yes.
slowly been taken over, but he's not taken over just yet because Carol wants to keep doing it, which is amazing.
No, I really liked hearing from Matt and
Hmm.
the whole thing with the oh, your name means bird in German. That's so cute. Oh my god. That was so funny. What I've learned from Sesame Street is her new cover photo. Okay, so her teen novel is The Revolution of Evelyn Serrano.
Yeah, here it is. Yeah, her new memoir, Becoming Maria.
Awesome. That is
Awesome.
so cool. We'll have to do a book club thingy for that.
I still need to read the Jim Henson biography.
I know.
It's sitting on my pile. It's got like four other books on top of it, and then it's gonna. I just want to read that book where I've got like nothing going on for a week, and I can just like hide away and read it and cry.
Oh, Gabby. Her real name was Gabby on the show.
Yes. Wasn't Miles's real name Miles? Or am I lying? Hmm.
No.
No. Okay.
Wait, I don't know. I don't remember. Hold on. I want to say that Baby Miles' real name was Miles.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking
But
of.
then later on,
They
yeah,
got a new, not actually
yeah.
named Miles. Yeah. Know who I did like that they got
Yes,
to
so
be
okay,
interviewed? Wait.
so Baby Miles from 85 to 8 to 85 to 95
Okay.
was Roscoe Orman's real son,
Yes.
his real son, Miles. And then later on they changed actors a couple times.
Okay.
Or like twice. A couple. That's a couple. And then one time he was played by Kevin Clash, so
That's right.
in a dream sequence when he's still a little baby.
I like that they got Frank to be
Yeah,
interviewed. That made me pretty happy. Which
Frank
they
always
got
does really good interviews.
they got him for being Elmo, didn't they?
It's been a while since I've seen that. I'm pretty sure.
I think that they did. So I don't know. I think that's really nice that even though Frank's kind of distanced himself from Muppets and Sesame, he still, he'll come back and speak
Well,
of
I mean, he always talks about it, and
yeah.
that's like what he says in that interview that was from 2013. But still, whenever people bring up the Muppets and stuff and talk about him puppeteering, and especially when his talking about his parents being puppeteers, and he's like, yeah, I never really wanted to puppeteer though, and people always like they know that a lot of interviews already know that, so sometimes they end up like apologizing for bringing up Muppets or whatever, and he always says, no, no, I loved being, I loved working for the Muppets. I loved working with the Muppets. It's just that I wanted to do other things at the time as well, but I was too scared to say it. That he was too
Yeah.
like self-deprecating or not, didn't feel like whatever he could do was strong enough yet or whatever his reasons.
Yeah.
But it's not that, and that he likes to direct more than he ever did puppeteering, but he liked character work and he loved all the people that he worked with.
Yeah.
So it's not that he doesn't like the Muppets anymore.
Yeah.
And it's probably, and I bet you like 85% of it is people going, so you were the voice of Miss Piggy and you were the voice, and in hearing you were the voice of like every single time when you have like 3 minutes to talk to this person
Mhm.
and wanting to correct them and explain why they're wrong is and like not literally not having the time to do it can get irritating.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I don't know, especially when people are always like, oh, I'll do the voice of this, and he's like, no, and I respect him so much for that. And then he says why. He's never like, I don't think he's ever like mean about it.
Yeah.
But I like that he doesn't. I just think that's so,
Does he still go back? I know for a while he was going back and doing like the occasional
mm,
segment at
I don't know.
Sesame. I don't know if he's officially wrapped on doing that, but I liked he did that Grover number
I
what
don't.
last year.
I think he'll still do it whenever
I think it's
you know
sweet that he goes back.
he
Yeah,
feels like
occasionally.
whenever he's around or has time or whatever. And I don't think anybody would not let him do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's cool. I'm really interested to see what Frank would think about the new series,
Yeah.
especially after watching that interview. Um, but we're talking about I Am Big Bird.
I am Big Bird.
We're getting off track, but kind of staying on track because we were talking about Frank as well. But
That's true. Um yeah, as a whole I really liked the documentary. It was really sweet, sweet natured.
the thing, like I'm gonna let you talk and then I interrupt you. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying as a whole I thought that it was a very well done documentary, very emotional. I saw other people in the theater getting teary-eyed at certain
Uh,
points, so I didn't feel
yeah,
quite as alone. And it was nice seeing like a lot of behind the scenes footage. I did like that they showed the entire It's Not Easy Being Green from Jim's Memorial,
yeah.
which I thought they were only going to show a clip of it, but they did the entire thing.
No, they did the whole thing.
I know.
I was kind of mad about that because I purposefully do not watch the entire thing because it makes me cry. And then they show the entire thing and I watch the entire thing and then I cried. I'm like not even looking it up, but I can't remember her name and I'm gonna say it wrong.
Do you remember?
The little girl from Big Bird Goes to China.
Yeah, I didn't
That whole thing.
I don't know that much about Big Bird Goes to China. I've seen it before, but it was a long time ago.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I wasn't aware of like all the behind the scenes stuff. I also didn't know that him and John Stone didn't get along.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was, yeah, that was an interesting thing to hear about and find out.
That was a little bit of dirt because I love watching Jon Stone and like the interviews. He's so funny and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like as soon, Carol was talking about like, I would do something to set him off and I wouldn't know what it is, or he would just be like cold to me that day or whatever. And I'm like, holy crap. I know your feels, man. I have a director that would do that, and that's why I don't work with him anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, and it's really weird because that certain director actually kind of looks like Jon Snow, like a little bit, but like with no hair. So I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she's so sweet. She played Zhao Fu. Is that how you say it?
I think so. But
Yeah.
you are talking about the little girl from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that whole they mentioned in
Like they have like her, like they called her something else, I think, but
yeah.
not like in real life. Her real name they called her something else, but I can't. I, I'm terrible at reading, especially foreign names. So whatever her real name is, it's in the wiki.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's gonna be like something really simple. And you're like, yeah, it's pronounced like this. It's really not hard. I'm like, sorry, I'm like really bad at reading. Anyway, but like when the like, so I gotten a little misty during
Mm-hmm.
the funeral bit, but when it towards the end when Debbie said, like, I'm getting like a little bit emotional thinking about it. When Debbie said my little girl, I was gone.
Yep.
I have tears in my eyes right now just thinking about it. I was on. So that I really like that part. And the whole thing, I had no idea about the Challenger thing. I
Yeah.
had no idea about that. I like literally said when they mentioned, I was like, oh, I don't know, Big Bird going up into space. First of all, like right away, I thought that probably wouldn't be a good idea because Big Bird is really big.
He's huge.
And I've seen Apollo 13. They are there's not a whole lot of space in there. So I was like, that's probably not a good idea. And then in another interview, and I forget what it's for. I think it was for USA Today. That Carol went on. It was like a 30-minute interview. It was really good. So he mentioned they nixed that idea, and then they were going to send radar up instead.
Oh
So
yeah.
that and then like there would be like a back and forth thing with the captain, which was like, I was having a really hard time getting to sleep because we see the sun every like 30 minutes. So um, Big Bird would say, well, whenever I have trouble getting to sleep, I'll sing this song I'll sing the song to radar or something like that. Something, that incorporate radar, and then the next morning, we check in with the captain again, and he would be like, "Oh, I got a good night's sleep. Thanks to radar and you, Big Bird, blah blah blah."
Aw.
So yeah, something really cute like that. But then whoever was like, "No, that's dumb. We're not doing that."
Oh.
So so yeah, whatever like NASA officials I think it was, or the network of somebody official, somebody further up were like, no, that's dumb. We're not doing that. But then like as soon as he said a teacher went up instead, and I was like, holy shit. I know I said we weren't gonna curse, but I literally said that out loud. Like I said that out loud. And I'm like all alone in my room watching this thing. I said that out loud. That's how stunned I was with that. And
Yeah.
that was just like, how terrible was that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's incredible to think about. And they sat there on Sesame Street on the set. They like stopped taping or whatever to watch the Challenger go up.
Yeah.
So, it's really terrible. Um, but really terrible, but on the one hand, we were really lucky to not have lost Carol in that as well.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
That was really daunting to know that. I mean, it's an awful thing that happened for
Yeah.
everybody, obviously, but Carol, Carol's a national treasure, and that would have been. I don't know. I don't know what would have happened.
I really like the illustrations that they used
Yes.
because I think that's a lot of Carol's personality too, is his artistry.
Yeah. I liked the illustrations with him
And
and Jim.
Hmm.
Those were pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
those are really cute. I wish they had used those. I wish they had used them more
Yeah,
because it felt like they did them like
they did
they did
about like two or
they
three
did it.
times.
Yeah, for I forget what the other one was, but the one with Jim and I like what you try to do. I love that line. I love it, and it's like it's a real thing that he said. But I think that like that's one of my favorite Jim quotes. I love what you tried to
Laura?
do, because he got it. So, um,
Laura?
I like that they used that for that, and obviously the stuff that they didn't have
Trying to
home
call her
video footage or
back.
whatever of.
Trying to call her
But I think they
back.
could have used it a
Calling
little
Laura
more
back.
in different things,
I'm
just
still
so that could have been
recording.
like
Calling Laura
because
back.
kind of like what
Calling Laura
Being Elmo
back.
did with like the
Calling
photographs.
Laura back.
Oh no, what happened?
Laura? Laura?
Oh no,
Laura?
wait, we lost her. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of like what Being Elmo did. Um, I'll start that again. I was trying to figure that out. I wish they had kept that through. Like with what Being Elmo did with the photographs. And like I mean that kind of was a through line sort of thing
Yeah.
where they and the photo I think the photographs thing with Being Elmo was didn't always look great, but it was they constantly use that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they didn't use more of the animation in I Am Big Bird because they did. They were very lucky that Carol filmed so much of his
That's
life,
true.
and
Yeah.
so they didn't really have to rely on it. They only really used it to fill in a couple gaps where there was no footage.
Yeah.
Um, but
But
yeah,
I don't know.
but
But it was nice to see.
I would agree that they could have probably used it maybe two or three more times, so it would have been more consistent but not too
Yeah.
overbearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I like that because I don't think that was Carol that did the animation bits, but
but
it was definitely in his style
yeah, very much inspired by
that it
his style.
it, it looked like it was something that he would have done kind of thing. Um, and then the music was
Yeah.
really good. There were some parts where I felt it was a little off, and I can't remember because I watched it. I watched it when I first got it, and that was like 2 weeks ago. So there were some bits where I thought, nah, that's kind of some weird soaring music for this time, which I didn't always agree with the choices. But overall, it was very good,
Yeah, definitely.
and that's always important because Whoops, was that you or me?
That was me. Sorry.
Mm, okay.
I was scratching my eye and I hit my mic.
You hit your mic.
It
Okay.
happens. Ugh.
Yeah, but I liked that there was a lot of stuff that we didn't know, like the Challenger thing and Johnstone and Debbie. I remember hearing that story before that he asked her out like 4 times and didn't realize that it was her, which is funny, but then it's also kind of strange.
Yeah,
You didn't know it was her. Like I'm sure there were reasons, but
yeah.
still. But Debbie remembered, and that's what's important.
That's that is true. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe your hair was different. I don't know.
I thought it was a cute story, but yeah, it was a little weird. But I mean,
That's,
they both thought it was funny, so I guess that's all that matters.
yeah, that's what's important.
They're
What we think
happy.
doesn't matter.
They're happy and in
Oh
love,
my
and that's
gosh.
good. They're
Yeah,
adorable.
they are. I want to love like that. Jesus. Crikey. They're so in love, and it's so cute.
Hmm.
That's really nice. So overall, I thought it was a really good piece. I wish it was longer because it was only like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think if it was longer, that would solve all the my criticisms of it. I think
It probably could have.
they could have drawn out things more if they had the time. But
It probably could have been, maybe like 15 or 20 minutes
yeah,
longer. It was good.
mm,
I liked it.
me too. That's
Liked
what
it a
matters.
lot.
And it was interesting. I really love the poster for it too.
Yeah.
That shot of like the design of it and the shot of Carol
In the Big Bird legs.
and the big bird legs.
Hmm.
I really like that poster.
Yeah.
And they use it like all the time in the magazines and stuff, which is really cool.
Hmm.
Like that shot of Carol as well. If nobody's seen Julia's poem
Oh.
for Jim Henson's passing, you should watch it right now because it's so good.
Um,
It is so good.
I wrote that.
Shut up! Shut
I
up! It's so good.
I was just gonna say
That's how good it
I
is.
wrote it a couple months ago, and then I participated in the Portland Poetry Slam a lot, so I'd done it there. But yeah, for Tough Pigs we did a week of remembering Jim Henson since it was the 25th anniversary this month of his passing. And I was like, "Oh, Joe, I let you read that poem I wrote. Can I do something with it?" And he was like, "Yeah, just, if you want to record it, that'd be cool." And I was originally going to record me performing it in front of people. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Why don't I just get my friend, who's really awesome and is the showrunner of a cool series called the Misselthwaite Archives, which I produce slash write for. And she recorded it and made it super pretty. So y'all should go to Tough Pigs and find
It's
that
so
video.
pretty. I love how you guys did it. And I like to say that I contributed to it because a lot of that Muppet stuff I gave you.
That was only like half of my Muppet stuff. I still have a lot of stuff in storage from
I
college.
know I know. I noticed things missing.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. The Telly Beanie, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, I hit my mic. The 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 Gonzo plaque, that was also me.
We only used one of the plaques. I have the other one that you gave me too.
Oh, I know. But I mean like that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
But I figure, I mean that it looked really good. Yeah, so that was my little contribution. I helped. I helped.
You definitely helped.
I did help.
I considered wearing my Gonzo onesie for it, but I was like,
Uh,
I was like,
that's a bit much.
no one would take me seriously.
You couldn't be angry in the onesie. You just can't do it.
Nope.
It's impossible. You wouldn't be able to do it. You're like, no, I can't. I can't get there emotionally. I gotta go change. Unless you'd have to stop the video.
It's true. Um,
I think we're naturally progressing down.
First off, a comment that I was corrected about for the last podcast episode. Peter
Oh,
Linz
right.
was not on Tough Pigs. He briefly was on Muppet Central, I believe, but not Tough Pigs. So don't go looking through Tough Pigs for things that he posted because he didn't do it.
Yeah, no.
I was wrong.
Brian Dillon, however, totally was because I remember him being on there and
Yes,
stuff.
which is pretty
And
cool.
he used to do some puppet stuff with Danny Horn
Hmm.
whenever they would get together, was cute. Oh right, the giveaway. I
Yeah,
was like, there's
that's.
one more thing.
I was waiting to see if
One more thing.
you had anything else about that one, but yeah, the giveaway, and then
Okay.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. So we did get a question from Charlie's friend, and I don't know what their name is, but
You can just
their
read.
their screen name is Aqua Gravity Follows Screen Caps. Follow them on Tumblr because why not? Uh, is would you want to live in Big Bird's nest? No, I would not.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to sit in Big Bird's nest and visit it, but I feel like that would not be a suitable home for a human.
Oh, I was okay. This is a joke, but Bob Bob's cute. I would rather live in 1970s Bob McGrath's little apartment
Oh,
because he's a hottie. No. I think no. Me and Julia should have an apartment right next to Bert and Ernie. Well, maybe not right next to because those late night sheep parties are weird. Get out of hand, very loud.
yes.
There was a whole musical about it, whole
Yes.
musical segment about it. So we would live, same building. That's a good building. That's a good part of the neighborhood. Um, and we would have it would look exactly the same, but with Julie and Laura stuff instead of Bert and Ernie stuff. We'd have like, you know, no not bunk beds because those are dumb. I don't like bunk beds. But we would have like the twin beds in the same room because, of course, why wouldn't you have that? And they would have our initials carved in because that's just practical. Otherwise, we'd get mixed up.
Yes.
I don't want to sleep in your bed. You don't want to sleep in my bed. Then we'd have like the picture in the center of the front room
Hmm.
that we had somebody commissioned to paint because that's cute. Probably Telly. I don't know. Maybe Grover. I'm not sure who did it. Um, and then we'd have like our little chairs with our reading materials, but we're kind of similar, so our stuff would kind of overlap a little bit. We're not as polar opposites as Bert and Ernie are.
Of course.
But she would definitely have that John Green stack, and I would be like, yeah, I'll get to it, but I'll just be lazy. Haven't gotten to it yet.
You've put a lot of thought into this imaginary apartment.
Nope, I just made it all up right now.
Nice.
Yep. Talent. So that was like pretty much our only
That was our only question.
question. Number 7. Who is number 7? Number 7 is Alexander Bermage from Facebook. Yay.
Ooh.
He sent us like a really nice message on Facebook too.
Oh yeah?
It was like, did you not read it?
I don't get the
Oh, you
messages
never
on
get it? Yeah.
Facebook.
Anyway, I lost it. Anyway, I will be sending him a message because I did write down his full name, so that's good. But yeah, no, he sent us a really sweet message, like he was saying how much he liked the podcast
Oh, good.
and that
Well,
so
congratulations.
congratulations, um, Alexander. I forgot what his name was. I was looking at Anthony's name on. I was looking at Anthony's name on there, so that's why
We're so
I almost called him
professional.
Anthony. Yay! And then I'll be getting in touch with you for your address, and a little package will be coming your way
Aw.
shortly.
Yay.
Yay! That
Yay.
was fun. That was fun. I can't believe it's over. I'm kind of sad.
The giveaway?
Yeah,
Which we had to like
cause like now I know. Yeah, we had to delay it on
we had to
account.
delay it 'cause not that many people had. Anyway, um
Yeah,
maybe
but then
we'll
we got more, and now that's enough.
yeah, and maybe we'll do
We'll
more
do other ones.
giveaways in the future. Maybe we'll do one around Christmas time.
Yeah, and another thing. I mean, that came out a while ago, so the people that wanted it probably already got it,
Yeah, or could
because
easily
that's
get it
probably
for
why.
not too much.
Hmm. But now you get it for free at my expense. Totally.
Woot.
Yeah. Yeah, totally at my expense. Julia didn't contribute anything to it,
Thanks.
so.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, person that works at
uh,
Barnes and Noble and has a cool discount.
Look, it's only 30%, okay? That's
Only
really not that much if you think about it.
yeah.
Look, I've used that to your advantage
I
as
know.
well.
I'll stop.
No, I'm joking. You contributed in spirit and in
Yay.
enthusiasm
It's what I'm best at.
and other things. Okay, so I think that's a good way to end it
All
because I
right.
think we've gone a little bit over than we usually do. Peanut, do you have anything to say? Peanut, huh? Do you want to say goodbye? Come here. Peanut, come here. This is my dog. Peanut, come here. Come here. No, yeah, I can't hurt. Peanut, Peanut, say something. Say something, Peanut.
Is Peanut gonna say anything?
No, he's trying to rub his head against the microphone.
That's not
Peanut,
good.
Peanut, can you say bye to everybody? Huh? He's whining. Peanut? Hmm? Ugh. No, don't lick me, please. Okay, Peanut, say bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay.
He's licking the microphone now. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Peanut. Or he was trying to. No. Okay. Bye,
Bye,
everybody. Peanut says
everyone.
bye. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
He could probably hear him on the. He was making like really funny little noises.
Yeah.